In this episode, we geek out about some of the games shown at E3, Firewatch, The Expanse, and Jones Soda, then review The Incredibles 2 and DONTNOD's latest game, Vampyr. All this and more on the Geek Generation. Everybody, welcome to the Geek Generation. I'm your host, Rob Logan, and I am joined in studio by Mike Volpe.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. It's gorgeous today.
It's
not humid. It's not 800 degrees.
Like the first day in a while.
Yeah. I think yesterday was not. No, last night was nice.
It rained in the middle of the day, or like morning-ish, and the humidity cut, and then...
Oh, I actually woke up cold last night.
Same.
In the middle of the night, I was like, wow, maybe I have to get under the covers.
It got below 60 for
fantastic.
Like the first time in days.
Oh, it felt so good.
It's been a crazy summer. But we have a lot to talk about.
We do.
As we always do. And we're going to start it off with Geek Outs.
Yay!
What are you geeking out over, Mike?
I'm going first. Okay.
Yeah.
I will start with Firewatch.
Yes.
On Xbox One. I played on.
I played it on PC.
I stumbled upon it looking through Xbox games that were downloadable.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what it was, so I Google searched it, and I read just the brief explanation as to what it was, that you're set in, you're a
ranger.
Ranger, basically, yeah. It's you and one other person. You're in the middle of nowhere, and there's some sort of mystery taking place. So that's all I knew. I was like, is there going to be a murderer? Is this going to become science fiction? I had no clue.
Is it going to be horror?
Yeah, I had no clue what I was going into when I turned this game on. And I started playing it and immediately felt like I was just immersed in some sort of new world. It turns out these games are categorized as walking simulator. Yeah, my brain is mush right now.
It's okay, I got you.
I'm going to do the best I can. It has been a long week. Like, literal, my brain is like applesauce.
Yeah.
It's just mush. So I didn't really understand what that was. I had to Google search, like, what's a walking simulator? And then I saw the other games and understood that. I don't assume, it's more like a point and click to me. Like, I feel like it's more like that. Because
it's that idea, but it's like a point and click has the stop and dialogue, I guess, a lot. And the walking simulator, there's no like stop. It's all just experiential, I think.
I don't like the term for it.
The term walking simulator. It implies that there's nothing going on.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. So I'm just going to go walk through the woods. That's the game.
Yeah.
No, the game is much more.
It's much more,
It is, I feel like the two major driving things in this game are the dialogue. So you got the characters and the way they interact with each other, which in this game, all your character interaction is done on a walkie-talkie. So you're out on one side of a valley, and there's another ranger, Delilah, who's in a tower on the other side, who's been doing this for years. Comes out every summer. She's the ranger, and you're new to it.
She's kind of the boss.
Yeah. So she's kind of leading you. But the whole game as you're walking is just built around dialogue, making some choices in dialogue as to how you want to respond to situations and things she says and questions you ask. And then the other thing is just the environment was very intriguing. It was somewhat, I don't want to say cell shade, but like that cartoon style. Yeah. So it wasn't built to be ultra realistic, but it felt like you were a part of this world.
Totally.
The sound effects were really good in the game. So I just felt like I was there. You don't see a lot of animal interaction. If you play through, you can interact with some animals in the game. They're you get rewards for doing so.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a raccoon in the game that you can find in a couple different spots.
I never saw it.
And you get an achievement because it will attack you.
Oh.
Yeah. It's hidden in 3 different spots. One of them, for example, like right at the beginning of the game, you get out of your truck and you can walk towards the path that leads to the ranger station. There's like a hidden, I want to say one of the raccoons is somewhere around there.
Okay.
But once you get past that, you're cut off.
Oh.
So you can't ever go back.
Right.
So there's hidden little things along the way. But as I played through the game and the mystery began to unfold and then you realize what's going on, I was like, this is so awesome. I have to play it again. So I beat it and went right back to it and just started playing again, which I don't do often.
Yeah.
I think Fallout 3 was the last game that I immediately went back and replayed. And I feel like with this game, I could just randomly turn it on, start a new game, play for maybe a half hour, an hour, and then just shut it off and go back to again.
Huh? Because with walking simulators, I get the experience and I get the narrative, and then I kind of stop there. So like I know the story, and there's not like a ton of different choices you can make to alter that story. The story is what the story is. You can change the dialogue responses and things like that, but once you have the narrative, you kind of got it. I guess it's like rewatching a movie.
Yeah.
And I do that, so I guess it doesn't make that much difference.
Yeah,
but
playing through a second time allowed me to make different dialogue choices. And I did it because I wanted to see how Henry and Delilah's interactions would change if I could make her angry or change her tone in a situation.
Sure.
And you do. Ultimately, the story plays out the same way.
Yep.
It doesn't change the universe within the game. But you can change the dialogue story a bit. So it'll kind of ultimately get back to a center path, but you can go off on a tangent and then come back. So changing the dialogue does change things. And what I found was if you go and wander off, so the game's divided into days, day 1, day 2, day 3, then all of a sudden it jumps to day like, I don't know, whatever, in the teens, and then the 20s and the 30s, and then things really start to unravel and fall apart for them. But if you go and wander off, it opens up more dialogue. She'll start asking you more questions about your past. You can question her about things. So it created a bigger story instead of just sticking to that path, the main storyline. I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. There are a couple issues here and there, like little things. Like so without spoiling anything, there's a fenced-in area in the game.
Yes.
I ran into it way ahead of time because I got lost.
Oh, yeah.
I had a hard time navigating the map in general, but that's my problem in video games always is navigating.
It was difficult to navigate.
Yeah. So at one point I ended up in the fenced-in area way before they wanted me over there. And when I tried to interact with the fence, it became a story between Henry and Delilah. They just told a story and he just wouldn't acknowledge the fence.
Oh.
So like anything else you look at, he's like, oh, tell me about this thing. Tell me about that thing. And I called Delilah about the fence on the walkie.
Yep.
They didn't even mention it. They just went into a story.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because it was like, you're not supposed to be here yet. So we're not even going to acknowledge that this thing's in front of you.
What's funny is the first time I played through, I tried not to wander because I'm like, is a dude with an axe going to come out of nowhere? Like, I had no clue what the hell was about to happen. But that's interesting that happened right there.
Yeah. But overall, it's worth it. There's a lot of walking simulators that I've played and I like. Gone Home is great.
I played that. That was
Tacoma
awesome.
is great.
Very short Gone Home.
Yeah. Oh, you just played it between...
No, I played it.
Oh, you had played
before 4th of July.
Okay.
Right after I beat Firewatch for the second time, I Google searched walking simulators because I was intrigued and then bought the game. It was for like $4.99. And I have about $80 in Xbox gift cards. So I was like, I'm getting a bunch of games. I played it. It was very short.
It is.
Very good.
Yeah.
And that was the one that was in a house. And like you just basically went from room to room, but great detail. You
Amazing
felt like you were
story.
in the house.
Yeah.
It's very different than playing Halo, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Whole different. It's such a small little world that's so well built.
I enjoy them, though, because they're great narratives.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm taking part in it as part of it.
Minimal learning curve, minimal button pressing.
Yeah.
Great story.
Yeah, anyone can play through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing the Edith Finch game.
Oh, yeah, What Remains of Edith Finch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I actually haven't played in a week.
Oh.
I actually haven't sat on my couch for more than 15 minutes in a week. So
it's been busy.
It was today, 15 minutes I sat and was like,
just breathe.
Like, should I turn the game on? No, I'm going to have to leave.
Yeah.
15 minutes. So I just sat and stared out the window for a moment of peace. Yeah, that was my first one. Want me to keep going?
Yeah.
We had E3 recently.
We did.
Kind of. A few weeks ago. And which felt like it came out of nowhere.
I prepared for it way ahead of time. But yeah.
I was, because people don't know, I purchased another gym. So the last few months have been just my head stuck in Excel sheets and all different things. So out of nowhere, all of a sudden, YouTube blew up with, E3, and I'm like, holy crap, E3.
And game trailers everywhere.
Yeah,
and,
game trailer came out for a new Fallout game, so I'm pretty excited for Fallout 76. I'm intrigued. I'm optimistic for it, but I don't know how it's going to play out because this one isn't a single-player game with all these branching stories. Well, they could be. This is multiplayer, online, with every character being an actual person.
Yeah.
So, on one hand, I'm like, this could be really time-consuming. Am I going to be able to do this? Play this. But on the other hand, I go, it'd be so awesome to play the Fallout universe with your friend. Like, that's, I think, what everybody has wanted.
I'm into the idea of playing with your friends and having it be a co-op experience. I'm not sold on the idea of everybody in the world is a real person because it makes me think of games like Ark and 7 Days to Die and Rust and Conan Exiles. And those are games I'm not really into.
Have you played Ark?
No, but I've watched people play
I
it.
downloaded maybe it's a demo. I don't know. It let me play the game for a bit. And it was tough because when I ran into somebody, they either completely ignored you as if you didn't exist, or they just killed you.
Yeah.
Or tried to. And I'm like, oh, I hope what they say is that they're trying to find a way to limit that from happening in this game. I don't know how.
These games also strongly encourage you to get a group together on your own and play with your friends. I've never had a good experience playing by myself and like trying to group up in game or anything like that. I've always had to come in with a group of my own to enjoy it.
Well, I'm excited for the universe they're building too, because this is going to be the first game that's set only years after the bombs fell. 20 something years, or is it 76 years? Is that why it's 76?
No, it takes place in like 76.
Oh,
like
Vault 76. Yeah, it takes place not shortly after. They're the first group of people to come out of their vaults. Yeah, is what it is.
Yeah.
So who knows what the world's going to look like? There should be a ton of radiation. It should be a whole different looking world than what we're used to. The trailers and the E3 conference with Bethesda made the game look promising. So I'm hopeful for it. I will watch it. I will have to read reviews prior to playing, but I'm hoping that it's good because I love Fallout. And it'll be fun.
I hope it's good too. I mean, I'm not as optimistic as you, but I would want it to be good.
What do you think is going to be the biggest issue? Just people killing each other?
Just the fact that it's all multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think the more people you bring into a game, sometimes the more you lose control of it. So there are a lot of ways that people can ruin your experience. And
well, they do that in real life.
Yeah.
In the supermarket.
So why do I want them doing it in the game too?
In a place where you can zone out. Well, we'll transition into the next game then.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's really nothing out there about it, but it was the reveal trailer for the next Halo game. So I have no clue, but I didn't expect it. I didn't think another Halo was coming out anytime soon. And then as the trailer progresses and the camera pulls back, you see Master Chief holding his helmet. And I was like, ooh, sweet. So it almost seems like this game's going back a bit, like to the basics of they're on a ring world. And I think I'm hopeful that we get to play as him, because the biggest complaints with the last game was that he's in it, but you don't get to play as him.
Oh, that sucks.
You're switching between him and another group that are searching for him. I'm hoping you get to play as him and they continue the story.
I'm surprised people that are that attached to Master Chief. Like, does he have a personality? Does he have a character?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you play through it.
I played 1 and 2, and I didn't feel like Master Chief was anything more than just like a vessel.
Oh.
That I was playing through.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt attachment. Like at the end of the third one, you think that he's dead until the end of the credits. Spoiler. But I was like crushed, almost on the point of like they killed the chief. Like,
yeah.
Now, like I felt hurt. Like it's like when a character in a TV show that you love gets killed off. The show could continue.
Yep.
But you just lost like a major player to it.
Sure.
Like I'm sure you deal with watching
everything.
Well, Walking Dead does that, and then Game of Thrones. So it's like that. People were really attached, and then when they told that they were going to do a fourth one, people were like, "Yeah!" And you really didn't get to play as him as much. And then the other Halo, same thing. You get to play as him, but not enough. So this is exciting. I think it's going to be a step back to what people want. And it'll be interesting to see how the game progresses because so much has come out. And I feel like the game universe has changed a lot in the last few years. It seems like things are a lot more multiplayer. A lot more loose feeling. Yep. Like there's not so many restrictions on things. Like look at Grand Theft Auto or is it Overwatch or all these online games, the shooters. So it'd be interesting to see how they could take aspects of that, if they will, and implement it into Halo.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll even be the same genre as prior Halo games. Yeah. Like, is it going to be that first-person shooter linear story, or is it going to be multiplayer? Is it going to be
more open world?
Yeah, is it going to be a competitive shooter? Is it going to be a battle royal game? Because every game's
well,
going
the multiplayer aspect is going to have to change a lot.
Yeah,
to catch up with what else is going on, and then the story can be your typical first-person shooter story. It would be nice that it was longer. The stories just seem like they haven't gotten longer. So you had the first one on Xbox, and it was a long story, but I feel like when we switched to Xbox 360, Xbox One, the stories didn't get longer. You have more space on the disc, you have more story you could tell, and they don't.
Some studios don't feel developing single-player narratives is monetarily worth it. And it's actually more profitable to make a multiplayer game. Sure. So a lot of the times they'll create a single-player narrative to appease those that want it. But they're going to focus their efforts on the multiplayer aspect.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate for those of us that just really enjoy single-player narratives, but money.
I haven't sat and played an online game in a while.
I only play them because I stream, honestly. Yeah. I probably wouldn't otherwise, except for Overwatch.
I think that's why I've gravitated towards these single-player games like Firewatch. Because I can just sit by myself and get immersed in a universe.
Yeah.
Last Geek Out is actually, I signed up for a monthly subscription program. I have canceled it and I'll explain why. But Jones Soda has a monthly subscription. They'll send you, I think, 6 sodas and like swag. So I got a really nice Jones Soda t-shirt, some pins, decals, stuff each month. I did it for 3 months to see. Because they have a bunch of flavors, but most of the grocery stores only sell a few of the flavors.
Yeah, like a handful.
So they sent me a bunch. I have peanut butter and jelly. That was really good. They had an orange soda I had never tried. They sent me like a lemon lime. They sent Diet Cola.
What was Fufu Berry, the one that I tried?
Fufu Berry you tried on the 4th.
That was good.
Yeah. So I got to try some other flavors. And they were really good. So it was just nice you get it each month. It's got swag in it. I think it comes out to like, honestly, it was like $3 a bottle, which is expensive for soda. And then a little bit for shipping. And
but that's not a ton for flavors that you would have to order like specifically.
Exactly. And you wouldn't just order one. They'd send you a case of those. So I tried it out. The thing is, I don't drink a ton of regular soda. So after the 3rd month, I sat and looked in my fridge and went, well, I have a lot of soda. So I did cancel it, but I will reorder. Once I get through these, I'll start it up again. But for those out there who like soda and like some quirky flavors, it's definitely worth
Jones
signing
is good
up
quality
for.
Stuff.
They are.
Yeah.
Definitely. So those are my Geek Outs.
Cool. My first Geek Out is The Expanse, which is a show that I had been hearing about for a while. I ended up binging through it because for those of you that listened to the last episode, there was an opportunity to interview Cass Anvar, who's one of the actors on the show. So I wanted to be prepared for interviews, as I always do. So I started binge watching it, and then I got hooked, and then I watched the entire series, which is only 3 seasons right now. It's nothing crazy. It was airing on Sci-Fi, but they got canceled after season 3. Because it's the most expensive show Sci-Fi's ever put out. They were doing like $5 million an episode.
Wow.
Yeah. When you think about crazy. Game of Thrones is like $8 million.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's so many special effects. And costume.
Right. So when you're doing a sci-fi show that has a full world and it has the ship and all that stuff, you're going to have a big budget, or you're going to need a big budget to make that work as well. So they ended up getting canceled, but there was a huge outcry on social media, very loyal fans for this show. And it doesn't always happen, but the fans were heard and Amazon picked it up. So they're going to be moving from Sci-Fi to Amazon for season 4. And then who knows where it's going to go from there. But the show's really great. It's kind of hard. It's one of those shows that's really dense, and it's hard to kind of break it down premise-wise to just one thing. But I guess if you are going to try, you would say that there's a handful of characters that are on this ship called the Rocinante. It is a Martian warship that they stole from the Martians. So we live in a time where we are still living on Earth, but we've also colonized Mars.
Okay.
And it's been long enough to where now Earth and Mars look at each other as the others type idea. So even though we're all human, they're like, oh, they're the Martians, we're the Earthers. Yeah. And then in between them are what they call the Belters that are kind of mining on these colonies in between the two planets. And there is like that kind of segregation and almost racism, even though we're all human.
Yeah.
But you go, oh, those are Belters, sense. Those are Martians, those are Earthers.
It's and like, there's a whole
Canadians. Yeah, and there's a whole political thing. We don't hate Canadians. We're just saying,
but, it's that. Yeah,
we're just saying it's that kind of a separation.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that idea, and then the politics that go along with that. But you follow around this one crew. You follow around some politicians, and you follow around a handful of characters, kind of interwoven. But again, it's very dense. A lot of people.
How does that work in the show? Is there a government for Mars and a government for Earth, or is there one overseeing government?
There are separate governments for each planet. Yeah.
So basically, it could be at war with each other.
They could be, yeah. And at some point, they are obviously
China
because
and America. It's now the U.S. against, or it's the Earth against Mars.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But it's a cool show. I recommend it. And if you have Amazon Prime, the first 2 seasons are up there.
Okay.
And then the third will be on there, obviously, because Amazon's getting the show. So check it out.
That's what's nice about this day and age, is if a show on TV goes out or wants to be rebooted, you can almost count on either Amazon or Hulu or Netflix to pick it up.
Totally.
Which is nice.
My next Geek Out is also related to E3. There were a couple games that I am very excited for as well. The first is Spider-Man. We saw some of this
looking game.
Oh, I know.
That's incredible.
We saw some of this last year, but they had a Villains trailer and gameplay that they showed this year. And the thing that I'm most excited about is that they announced the release date, and it's out in September.
Wow.
So it's only a couple months away now, yeah. And I'm super, super pumped.
No more of the days where 2021.
Yeah. Even though I can't afford it right now, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'll play it someday. So even though it's coming out in September, I'll probably play in 2 years. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, as soon as I saw that, I said, oh, Rob's got to be excited.
Oh, God, yeah. So excited. And the worlds that they're doing Frozen and Toy Story. They're hitting all the Pixar stuff, which I love.
Well, this is going to bring a whole new market in.
Yeah.
Of course.
I would still love for them to bring in Marvel and Star Wars. I understand why they wouldn't right now, and they still want to focus on the Disney.
Yeah.
The stuff that's primarily Disney. I get it, but I want Marvel and Star Wars too.
Right.
So yeah, no, it's going to be great. I'm pumped.
When is that release?
November, I believe.
Oh, not bad.
Either November or December. You would think I would have remembered, but yeah.
For Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a great holiday gift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry. It's 2019. It releases on January. So it's not this year. It's January 29th or something. Right after my birthday. And I'm like, come on.
Right.
And then the last game is Twin Mirror, which there's not a ton of info about. There's a trailer that came out. It is from a company called DONTNOD, who is also responsible for the game Life is Strange.
Oh, okay.
And I really enjoy that game. I'm assuming it's going to be a game in similar storytelling fashion. But before I get too excited about it, I want to know for sure, because DONTNOD has done some other stuff as well that I'm not as excited about as I was Life is Strange. So I'll wait, and it's one of those wait and see things, but just the announcement of another game from them was exciting.
Very cool.
My next Geek Out is Fallout 4.
Yes.
Because I just started playing.
All right. It's about time.
Yeah, I know, right? Not Fallout New Vegas. No. Nope. Well, I skipped right over New Vegas.
That game has no chance.
And I went right to Fallout 4. I mean, at this point, I feel like it's the joke that won't die. So
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. I was like, I'll play Fallout New Vegas if I ever get partnered on Twitch or something.
Yeah.
But until then, it's funnier not to play it because I spent $60 on it and it's just sitting there. I've never put it in the machine.
It's great.
But I did start playing Fallout 4 on the PC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it quite a bit. The only thing that I had an issue with was the key binding. So I'm sure you don't run into you played on Xbox.
Yeah.
So you didn't run into the problems that I had here. When I'm playing computer games, the normal movement keys are WASD.
Oh, this is what you mean by key binding. I'm going, I have no idea what he's talking about. That missed something in the game.
Well, you don't play games on your computer,
no,
so you wouldn't run into this. I don't even have a
computer. So.
Yeah. So the WASD keys are your normal movement keys, like forward, backward, strafing, side to side. And then you move the camera around with the mouse and stuff like that. But what I do, and I've always done, is I rebind the movement keys to ESTF, the keys right next to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess there are people that do this in addition to me. The reason I do it is because it leaves a little more space on the left-hand side of the keyboard.
Yeah.
So I can use like A as my activate key instead of like moving left, instead of caps lock, which is a bulkier key. Like I just want a little small one to hit with my pinky. I don't need a big key. But I just have more room for it. R is usually reload in most games, which is right next to, I don't have to move my hand to hit it.
So it's a little more convenient.
It feels convenient to me. In most games, when you rebind movement keys, it will rebind things that are also the same letter to change as well. With Fallout 4, it doesn't. So
did you get the Fallout on the computer so that you could stream it? Is that why you didn't get the console?
Well, that and someone bought it for me.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
You can't turn,
So I set mine to ESDF.
Mm-hmm.
And most games, it doesn't happen in Fallout where everything is rebound. So when I rebind my movements and then I activate VATS, it doesn't remap to those same keys.
Oh.
So up and down and left and right and VATS remain WASD.
So you have to shift your hand.
So I would have to shift my hand over back and forth every time I enter VATS. And I was like, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. So I tried playing with the default keys and I was like, it was like a learning curve that I wasn't used to. I'm like, I don't want to struggle to play this. So I found a program called Auto Hotkey and it hard remaps. You have to write like a little script in Notepad and then it hard remaps things inside of the application across the board.
Wow.
So like when you remap, it will change. Like it'll say, oh, hit E to move forward instead of saying hit W to move forward.
Mm-hmm. So
the game realizes. When you use Auto Hotkey, it doesn't do that. So it's still telling me the wrong controls, but I know what's what. So now, instead of like hitting, I don't know, it just tells the computer that when I hit E, I'm actually hitting W.
Yeah.
And then it works fine now. So I'm good.
How do you like playing it on the PC versus console?
I find it easier.
Really?
Yeah, because anytime I play a first-person shooter, I don't like first-person shooters on console in general because the mouse is way more accurate than moving around a joystick.
Yeah.
And usually when you play a game like that on a console, the joystick will actually help you a little. Like the program will make it less sensitive and it'll kind of like gravitate towards what it thinks you're trying to shoot to kind of compensate for that. But I like having very kind of pinpoint accuracy. So I've been playing very sniper-like and to be able to like really get in there and pinpoint my exact target.
Right.
And then even like holding the button to hold my breath and firing. Oh, so satisfying.
Did you get all the downloadable content with it?
I didn't know.
I don't have any of it either.
Yeah.
I just played through the main story.
Yeah. It's fine. I don't.
How far into it are you?
A few
hours?
Yeah. I'm about maybe 5 or 6 hours in.
I never got into the building stuff.
I don't like that part. I don't care about that.
There are people who do. I watch videos and I'm like, that's incredible.
Yeah, I just don't care about it.
Put into this.
If I want to play The Sims, I'll play The Sims.
True. Yeah. Fallout. Yeah. Sims.
My next Geek Out and last Geek Out is San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Because it's next week.
Wow. That was quick.
Yeah. It's right around the corner. So if anybody else is going to San Diego Comic-Con, I'm still booking my things. I have a few things scheduled right now. It feels light this year.
Really?
Yeah, the stuff that I'm even getting invited to is like less than normal, which is strange, unless it's just all going to come in this week.
Maybe.
But there's normally more. But I have a couple things scheduled so far, not a ton. I'm going to get as much as I can. But I'll be there on the 18th, the night of, so I probably won't go to the con because I don't think I'll have time for preview night. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be at the con and doing interviews. And then I leave on Monday night.
Nice.
So I'll just be hanging around on the Monday. Enjoying San Diego.
What are the big expectations or hope? What are things people are hoping for? Preview of the next Avengers movie or something?
That's a good question. I don't
know
really
what everybody's excited about.
Yeah.
This summer has been so packed with, Jurassic World, the Avengers, everything that's come out.
Like Game of Thrones
what's
is
in
not
store
even
for next
going.
year?
Game of Thrones has said we're not going to have a presence at Comic-Con this year.
Is Disney also pulled out of there?
Disney is not pulled out, no, but they do hold things for D23.
Yeah.
Which is because they have their own thing. So why are they going to show off everything else?
I thought some studio pulled out of Comic-Con.
They did last
somebody
year.
Wasn't going to it anymore.
There's somebody else that's not going, like just one particular property, but not an entire studio or anything. Yeah. I don't think anyone would really completely pull out of Comic-Con. It's too big.
Yeah.
It's good publicity.
But no, you're not really aware of what people are going in for?
No, I don't know what the big thing is this year. But
Maybe
I'm sure I'll know what it is as soon as I enter the convention hall and I see banners everywhere. Those are all my Geek Outs, though.
Cool.
So let's talk Freak Outs.
Oh, Freak Out!
What do you got?
I keep breaking more teeth. Yeah, all right, let's get into it. Well, I had shattered that one tooth.
Right, a while back.
And then on my birthday, we went out to dinner. I got pizza. I had cracked another tooth and a filling fell out. So now I'm finally getting into the dentist. They're like, you need a couple crowns, so we'll do that. So I went a few weeks ago. They did a top tooth, and she goes in. I said, the bottom feels a little weird, like when I chew. So they did a couple x-rays, and she's like, you have 2 more teeth that are cracked, and if we don't put crowns on them,
how are you cracking
probably
teeth?
Shatter. That's what I said.
Are you chewing on rocks? What is happening?
She goes, what do you eat? I said, honestly, it's ground turkey or ground beef or a burger patty. It's veggies.
Yeah.
I occasionally have some chips if I'm at like a party or something. I was like, I don't eat any almonds or peanuts. I don't eat anything hard. And she said, teeth are a genetic thing.
Yeah.
She goes, your enamel and your teeth are soft.
I have fairly soft teeth too, but I don't tend to crack them.
And she said she thinks that my massive amount of soda consumption in my teenage years weakened my teeth so badly that they are literally just fragile. I have like 5 more crowns.
Oh, wow.
Which after dental insurance is still $500 a crown.
Ooh.
Yep. So we did one last month, and now I'm going, she started it. Now the crown's actually getting put on. Then we'll schedule the next one, most likely because of how she's backed up, for July. And then probably one for the end of August. And I'm like, oh my God, this is insane.
With all these crowns, I'm going to have to start calling you King Mike.
King
Volpe.
The King of Kings. Yeah. It's just frustrating. Because I just sit and go, what the fuck? I'm healthy otherwise. And now I got to deal with all this dental problem.
Yeah.
But it explains why I can chip teeth so easily. Why the fillings aren't holding properly. So, as long as I don't need root canal.
Oh, yeah.
Sucks.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with that.
Which is what will happen. If I don't get the crowns, I'm either going to break a tooth or it's going to get infected. So, what the fuck? From there, my next freak out would be the iPhone.
Yeah.
I have withheld from updating the operating system for a while.
To 11?
You think that's what it is, yeah.
The
newest one?
I don't even know anymore.
To the newest one.
I held off too.
I was like 2 updates behind or something, or 3. And then finally I said, because Ashley was sending me things and like the emojis were showing up blank. And I'm like, what is this? She's like, you have to update it. I said, okay, I'll update it. The first thing that happens is my alarms don't work. So now I have an alarm set.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go off.
Great.
I woke up one day 35 minutes late. It was set for like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. And I just woke up naturally and looked at the phone. No alarm went off. Nothing. Happened a few weeks ago. Again, I was supposed to get up at 7. At 7:20 something, I wake up, roll over, hit the phone button. It's 7:20 something. And I go, did I set it for PM? And I look, it's set for AM. No noise, no nothing. So I double checked everything in the settings. I go, maybe I turned the ringer volume down low and didn't hear it. It's halfway up. You hear that.
Yeah.
That and the battery. I have had no battery problems. And when I updated the operating system, my battery just drains and drains and drains.
There might be processes going on in the background now with the new operating system.
I went in and looked at everything. Yeah. And a lot of what I've read is that the new operating system is, and Apple put the statement out that they were purposely killing batteries so that you'd want to get the new phone.
That's
and I'm
insane.
Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Why do you do this? My phone died fast.
Time to get one of these battery packs.
Probably.
Like battery pack cases.
Yeah. I mean, I'll play a game on the phone for like 10 minutes and I'll be down 20-something%.
That's crazy.
Or I'll flip through Facebook or Instagram or check some emails and just watch it dropping.
There's also sometimes battery dropping where it's the perception of the battery dropping, but it's actually not dropping just because it'll be like at 20% or something.
Yeah.
And you plug it into charge and then all of a sudden it says it's like 78% and you just plugged it in. You're like, well, how does that work? It was just an inaccurate percentage.
Well, charging it's a problem now too.
Oh, lovely.
I'm getting the accessory not compatible message all the time with Apple software. The only place that isn't happening is in the car with the USB plugged right into the car. Other than that, like the regular cord plugged in, I get the accessory not compatible and it just stops charging. One time I had it plugged in and the notice came up and then I actually watched it drain my battery. So instead of charging, it was sucking the power out of the phone.
Lovely.
Yes, this is what I've been, and I sit and I go, am I insane? Like, is this really happening? Why can't you just make a quality device?
Right.
Every time they update it, they try to move forward in one direction, but they're taking a step back in another section of the phone. And I just sit and go, it's Steve Jobs because he's not here. This is what happens.
So everything breaks.
Everything breaks.
Yikes.
I don't think this stuff would have happened if he was still around. He was so meticulous about detail.
He didn't tolerate that kind of garbage.
No. So, I mean, I don't know where else to go. You just get sick of it, but it's convenient. And where do you go from here? It's like, who do you switch to? There's nobody. There's no Apple killer. There's nobody that's stepping up and you're going, that right there.
I mean, some people go to Google or Android. But then again, you're making a leap from one brand to another is a big change. Especially when you have like apps you've bought and all that.
Music.
Yeah.
My whole iTunes thing is on my phone.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't have iTunes on a computer. So
it's
frustrating. If anybody out there has a solution to that or deals with it, shoot Rob an email or whatever and he'll let me know.
Yeah.
Because I Google search stuff and I can't find many solutions to this accessory issue or the battery draining thing. So
sounds like a nightmare.
It's a little bit of frustration. Yeah. That's it.
All right. I have no freakouts.
Rob's happy.
Which is rare. I don't know if happy is the right word, but I have no freakouts. But before we get into the reviews, we have talked about a few video games. And just to remind people that are listening, if you're a gamer that wants to help support the Geek Generation, we have partnered up with the folks at Humble Bundle. When you shop in the Humble store or buy the latest bundle, a portion of your purchase comes our way. Just use thegeekgeneration.com/humble before you buy your games in the Humble store. You can pick up things like Firewatch. You can grab Fallout 4. And if you pick up any of that stuff, you're supporting us while you're buying your games. Again, doesn't cost you any extra money. thegeekgeneration.com/humble. Yeah, ads. Reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both saw a movie.
We did.
The Incredibles 2.
Yep. It was good.
It was very good.
I saw it with a bunch of little kids. So took Autumn to a birthday party.
I saw it in a theater that had a bunch of little kids.
Yeah, you went by. Well, I saw the first one when it came out.
Yeah.
Which was how long ago?
14 years.
And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For what it was. It was a good cartoon action, movie.
Yep.
From Disney.
I love The Incredibles.
I'm amazed it took this long to make another one.
I am a little too. There was a while where Pixar really didn't want to do sequels. And I think Cars kind of broke that. Their worst franchise broke the...
Yeah. But maybe they felt like, we can't let Cars be the only thing we did sequels to.
Yeah.
Let's make a good sequel. So I went in with pretty much no expectation for this movie. I just went in going, I'm going to sit at 10:30 in the morning and have some popcorn, which will break my teeth. But I'm going to have some popcorn. And I'm just going to sit and enjoy it.
Yeah.
And overall, I enjoyed it. I'd say it's like 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
The only things that bothered me about the movie were the length. It was a bit long. And I noticed the Autumn and the other little kids were getting a little antsy and they were having trouble sitting still. So I agree. You know, normally these movies are an hour and a half to an hour and 40, 45.
Yeah.
This was 2 hours with that other little movie before it.
Yeah, they always do the shorts, which kids are just like, kids hate seeing those.
Yeah.
Anytime I've gone to the movies with my niece and nephew, they're like, okay, is the movie starting now? And we're like still in the trailers. And then they see the short and they're like, oh, the movie's starting. And then they find out it's not the movie. And they're like, when's the movie starting?
Yeah.
Like they don't care about.
A 2-hour movie turned into what, 2:20?
Yeah.
You know?
And then trailers are a half hour too, usually on top of that.
You got quite a bit of time. So you're looking at...
I also didn't love the short. I normally really enjoy them.
It was sad and
yeah, I didn't love the short on this one.
Yeah. Is it still attached to the movie if you go see it now?
Probably.
They haven't pulled it
I
off.
think they leave it on there. The only one that they had pulled off at one point was there was a Frozen short before, I think, Coco. Maybe. But it was like 25 minutes long.
That's a movie?
Yeah.
Well, that's a TV episode.
Exactly. And people were like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like, we'll sit for a 5 to like 8 minute short, maybe. A 25-minute one is bonkers. That's a lot to ask of people.
It is.
Granted, you can say, well, we're giving you more entertainment, but they didn't go for that. Maybe some did. And then left when Coco started. But
Coco was good too.
Yeah, I liked it. But The Incredibles is a franchise. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite Pixar franchise. Because superheroes and Pixar and I thought that Jack was by and large the standout character in this movie.
Yeah, I agree.
He was hilarious.
Very funny.
Yeah.
And then the voice acting, of course, is on par. It was fantastic. The villain, how'd you feel about the villain?
It was okay.
I thought, again, I sit and I go, all right, this is a kid's movie. It kind of has to be obvious. I knew right away it was going to be one of two people.
Right. Yeah, we all knew that. And then they did the red herring thing, which
they tried. Yeah,
they do.
So overall, good movie.
Yeah.
It was fun. A little long, but we're going to wait another 14 years for another one.
I hope not.
I hope that some of the voice actors may not be here in 14 years. They are all getting older.
Yeah.
But plenty of moments in the movie where you just laugh out loud.
Yeah,
it was a great summer action movie.
Totally.
And it isn't just geared for kids. Like, adults can go see this movie and have a good time.
Totally.
I mean, Disney's clearly investing in Pixar in this franchise because they just redid Disneyland. A whole section of it, has a roller coaster dedicated to them. So
I feel like Pixar's slowly taking over Disney World.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the kind of current generation Disney.
Yeah. This movie took place right after the first one, right?
Yeah.
We had a 14-year gap, but this seemed to just pick up right where the first
was pretty much dovetailed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it starts off with the mole man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the first one ends.
Right. You think we'll see a third sooner than later?
I hope so. I think within the next 5 years.
They're going to have to.
Yeah.
They're going to have pressure. Get another one out.
I hope so. I enjoy it.
Overall, good movie. Definitely go see it. I think it's worth seeing in the theater.
Totally.
Don't wait for DVD or
because it's a big spectacle. It's an action movie.
Yeah. Fit right in with the rest of the summer blockbusters.
Yep. Totally agree.
It's got the Geek Generation stamp of approval.
It does. My review is for a game called Vampyr. Some people are calling it Vampire. But I guess in more olden times, that traditionally had an E at the end to call it Vampire.
Yeah.
So people are pronouncing it both ways. I say Vampyr because it also indicates what I'm actually talking about.
Okay.
If I just say, hey, I played a game called Vampire, people would be like, well, okay. There's probably multiple games with a name like that. So Vampyr, Vampyr.
So you play as a vampire?
A vampire, yeah. So this is
which
another
I think
game.
Everybody has always anybody who loves
and there are
genre
games like
would
that.
love to be a vampire.
Yeah, there are plenty of games like that. Blood Rain is like that. Vampire the Masquerade is another game like that. There's lots of games out there where you can play as vampires. But this is another game by DONTNOD, the same company who did Life is Strange and is doing that Twin Mirror game. I was hoping for a narrative type game like Life is Strange. That's not what this is. This is more of a third-person action game.
Okay.
So the premise is that you play Dr. Jonathan Reed. You have come to London to meet up with your sister. This is it's in the past, so it takes place in London during the outbreak of the Spanish flu. So there's a virus going around, and a lot of people are crediting like vampiric activity to the Spanish flu.
Okay.
They've been like, oh, something's wrong with that person. They have
Seems
the
like
Spanish
the right
flu.
setting for this.
Yeah.
I don't feel like vampires fit in 2018.
No, not as much. Not as much.
You have to go back, a ways.
Yeah. I mean, there are ways to do it. Like Underworld did it very well. I just started watching Van Helsing on Sci-Fi. That's doing it very well. But
in terms of a game, though.
Yeah, in terms of a
setting,
game, it feels right. So, and it's very atmospheric. Like, it looks great. Kind of like that smoky streets of London idea is a perfect setting.
Kind of gritty.
Yeah, absolutely. And since you are playing someone who is turned to a vampire, so within the intro of the game, you wake up in a pile of bodies. That's how the game starts.
Nice.
So that's like the first thing.
Yeah.
So you wake up in a pile of bodies and you start stumbling around and you're already craving blood because whatever. So you go over and I guess this is kind of a little spoilery, but not really. It's the first thing that happens in the game. So you stumble over to a person who's like, oh, thank God you're alive. And she hugs you, and just like an animal, you bite her. Turns out to be your sister. So right away, first thing you've done in the game is you've killed your sister.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good start.
Yeah.
We've set the mood.
Yeah. So the big kind of selling point of this game is that there is a lot of moral choice happening.
Okay.
So there are different districts within London, and each one has like a set of NPCs that are named people that have built up characters and stories and all that. Your struggle is whether or not you're going to kill some of these people or all of these people. So you build, because it's a third-person action game, you have to get experience, you have to level up your abilities. It allows you to get better so that combat is easier, so that you can beat different parts, stuff like that. You can get experience from playing side missions and killing kind of grunt characters that don't really have names or stories or anything. And they don't really kind of count in the overall scheme of things. But all these NPCs do. So you have conversations with them. Some of them get sick and you're a doctor, so you treat them.
What is your purpose in the game? You're trying to find a cure to this?
So there's a couple things going on. You kind of learn about your purpose as you go, but one of the big overarching things is like, okay, who bit me?
Yeah.
Like, who turned me? Why? Because you find out in the game it's not easy to turn people.
Oh, okay. It's not as easy as just bite them?
Nope, it's not that easy. But there's also, like, contradiction in that. So, like, you learn at one point from another vampire tells you that the way to turn people is they have to drink your blood. So I think we've seen that in vampire lore before.
I think so.
Where, like, it's one thing to bite someone and drain their blood and kill them. It's another to turn them where they have to drink of your blood in some way. And then that will turn them into a vampire. So they say that, and you're like, oh, okay. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. How did that like, at what point did you do that? You weren't turned voluntarily. You woke up a vampire. Like, you didn't choose to drink somebody's blood. So did they force feed you their own blood at some point?
Yeah.
And
they get slipped into a drink by accident.
Yeah.
It's the roofie, of that age.
I feel like it's okay to go into some spoilers here, because my review for the game overall is not super positive.
Oh.
So, and a lot of people have been trying to stream this and trying to play it, and a lot of people are like, I just can't get through it.
Really?
Because it's just not holding my interest.
It gets boring.
It does. I feel it does.
Repetitive? Like Assassin's Creed, how it got repetitive. All right,
a little, yeah.
Listen to somebody, steal something, go kill the guy.
There's a lot of that. I won't go into spoilers really. But there's another thing that happens that contradicts this idea of how you turn people, and they're like, it's very difficult and you have to be very purposeful about turning. But then accidents seem to keep happening. So it's and there's a lot of contradiction like that throughout the game and kind of breaking of its own lore. So I have no problem with accepting your rules that you set forward as long as you're consistent to them.
Yeah.
But if you start contradicting your
You've
own
said
rules,
this about other games.
many
that do it
things.
too.
If you start contradicting your own rules, I'm gonna have a problem with it. It just doesn't line up properly.
How's the world feel?
The
Is
world's
it alive?
great. The
Are there
world's
people
great.
out shopping and walking and talking?
Not a ton because you're a vampire, so you always operate at night. So the streets are not as active as, and so there's a reason for it, and it makes sense. But the world itself the world is probably one of the better aspects of the game. That kind of mood and feel in the world that they built of that kind of classic London. So you have all these NPCs to gain experience from. The easiest way to gain XP is to kill and drink the blood of one of the NPCs. You get a huge XP boost, and there are ways to make them worth more. So as a doctor, you can cure their ailments, and that increases their blood quality.
Okay.
You can also learn more about them. So when you ask them questions or ask other characters questions, it unlocks hints about characters. And those show up differently in your dialogue. And when you trigger a hint, it increases their blood quality. So the idea is that they're putting you in a moral quandary where you learn about this character, and in doing so, you get attached to them.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, but...
So you feel for them.
Yeah, you're like,
but
I
you
want
know
the
you
XP,
wanna kill them.
but I don't want to kill you because I'm familiar with you and your story, and it feels wrong now.
Does that play out well?
That's the supposed moral quandary.
Oh.
The problem with this is I went in, and I know not everyone's going to run into this problem. I went in deciding to play as a pacifist. So I'm killing all the grunts that I kind of have to. I have not killed one NPC yet. I think I'm not done the game. I'm maybe like 12 or 14 hours into it. I have not killed one NPC.
Yeah.
I haven't felt that I needed to, because have some of the bosses killed me? Yeah. But I've always managed to learn their patterns and take them out just by trying harder.
Yeah.
So I've never been put in the situation of like, oh, I feel like I have to kill somebody to get to the next level. The game doesn't challenge me enough to do that.
Okay.
So the moral choice has never really been presented to me. And since I decided to try and play like a pacifist, right from the outset, I was like, I'm not going to kill any of the NPCs.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a doctor more than a vampire. So now I'm going through all these dialogue chains and unlocking hints and sometimes you have to unlock side quests, which is where I am getting my XP from. And I have to do like every side quest.
Yeah.
If I'm going to keep up my leveling to where I need to be to even have a chance against some of these bosses and enemies. So I'm doing all that, and I have to have all these conversations with them, and the dialogue's terrible. And the game feels like more talking than doing.
Oh, I hate that.
So I'm like, I'm so bored by the conversations. Like, you can have, it's one of those games too where like you say one thing and someone gets really angry at you, and then you say another thing on a different dialogue chain and they're back to normal. And you're like, that doesn't follow any logic whatsoever. Yeah. And then the combat with the grunts is very repetitive and kind of dull.
You're not biting them, you're just fist fighting?
I mean, I'm biting some of the grunts because it's a move in combat, and it helps restore my blood level while I'm fighting, but it doesn't count as violating the pacifist run.
Right.
I'm still, if I don't kill any of the important people, then I've still completed it as a pacifist according to the game.
I see.
Because there are certain bosses and things you have to kill. There's no way to get around it. Because you fight like beasts.
Oh, okay.
That you can't even reason with them. They're monsters.
All right, so you're not killing humans, you're killing monsters.
I'm killing vampire hunters that are human, that are coming after me.
Yeah.
But again, I gotta kill them. They're coming after me. What am I gonna do? So it's very odd. But the biggest selling point of the game doesn't work on me.
Right.
Because I'm playing as a pacifist. So none of that matters. And I'm never being put into a situation where I have to make like a hard moral choice. So I'm just like, all right, that's fine. I guess that's the big sell of the game. It just doesn't matter to me. I've stopped streaming it. I was streaming like the first half of it.
I remember when you started to, and I had turned the stream on to start watching. Yeah. I don't know what happened. I had to shut it off.
You probably got as bored as I did.
No, it wasn't that. It was literally like a couple minutes in, and then Autumn was something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had to get away.
I've lost interest in the game.
Sucks.
Really. I mean, I have to finish it because
the idea is great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm reviewing it here, but I always feel like because I got a code from the company and I feel obligated to finish the game before I write a formal review, because I feel that people that don't do that are irresponsible reviewers.
Mm-hmm.
So these are my initial impressions. The story could end up being amazing, and I will come back and let you guys know if that's the case.
Yeah.
But if you hear nothing further on this game from me, it's ultimately not worth your time.
You've put about 12 hours in.
12 to 14, yeah.
Wow. How many hours is it?
I'm maybe halfway through.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And I have to finish it.
Maybe it'll pick up.
Maybe. I'm hoping, but I'm going to finish it on my
Change
own off
modes
stream.
and just start murdering everybody. You know?
I mean, I want an achievement for passing
I've done
this one
that
if there is one.
where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through nice and steady.
Yeah.
I'm like, screw it. And I'm blowing everybody up. You know?
I mean, the nice thing about if you do that, like, it changes your appearance. You become more animalistic.
Really?
People react to you differently.
That's cool.
Somewhat. Is
there real time like weather in it where
there's
night,
rain and
now
stuff?
All of a sudden you just notice the sun's coming up.
No,
so you have to
that
hide
never
or something?
happens.
Okay.
No, because at the end, whenever you decide to rest, that's how you level up. So you don't just level up in the middle of things. If you've gained enough experience, you go to sleep in one of your hideouts and you wake up and it says the following night. So you never really are out in the day. Yeah. And also you can jump like 3 levels by sleeping.
Oh.
Which is crazy. Like, I'd rather just kind of level up on the fly. Why not? I don't know. So I wouldn't really recommend it. But if people want to play, it's out there.
Yeah.
if that floats your boat.
Not too bad. I thought your review was going to be, I was hopeful that it was going to be good.
Yeah, it's not great. It's kind of middling. Like, there's some okay stuff in it. The thing I still care about in the game is the overall narrative. I still am into the mystery of, all right, who did this? Why did they do this? That still intrigues me, and it's the only reason, well, not that, and I have to write a review. That's the only thing keeping me interested.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of dull.
No hints towards it? No idea?
I mean, he's shown himself as like an entity.
Oh.
But I haven't like seen this actual creature or person.
Yeah.
He's just like astral projected kind of.
Oh.
And even that form was kind of wavery. Like you can't tell what's going on. So there's a mystery there, and I'm fascinated by the mystery. But that's kind of it at this point. All right. We got some news before we get out of here.
Yeah.
A few stories to go through. The first one's an unfortunate story, but it's a big one. Artist Steve Ditko, an iconic name in the comic book industry, has passed away at 90 years old. So, big life, for one. Ditko began drawing and publishing comics in the 1950s, working alongside Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. Ditko was eventually enlisted by Stan Lee to help him create a new superhero character, who would become Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
So, one of the co-creators of Spider-Man. Spidey made his debut in Amazing Fantasy number 15 in August 1962, and he continued to draw the web-slinger from issues number 1 through number 38. Along the way, Ditko co-created many fan-favorite villains, including Dr. Octopus, Vulture, Electro, Scorpion, Kraven the Hunter, the Lizard, Mysterio, Sandman, and the Green Goblin.
Wow, so the staple.
Yeah. Other characters within the Spider-Verse created by Ditko include Aunt May, J. Jonah Jameson, Flash Thompson, Betty Brant, Harry Osborn, and Mary Jane Watson.
So this is the creator of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Him and Stan Lee kind of did this whole universe together. And so he's a big, big name in comic books, an icon.
Yeah.
Ditko's fingerprints are all over other Marvel Comics characters as well, as he also co-created Doctor Strange with Stan Lee.
Wow.
Along with villains Dormammu and Baron Mordo. Later in his career, Ditko moved to DC Comics, where he co-created characters like the Creeper, Hawk and Dove, the Ted Kord version of Blue Beetle, Captain Atom, and the Question.
Wow. So both sides, he played both teams.
He did. And he made it to 90 years old.
Good for him.
Good for him. A big, big life.
Yeah.
So he's a major part of all the things we love. Next story here. Golden Globe winner Idris Elba is joining the cast of the Fast and Furious spin-off titled Hobbs and Shaw, which pairs Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with Jason Statham. Elba is set to appear as the villain of the film, which is set for release on August 2nd, 2019.
This franchise need to go on?
I don't think it needs to.
I thought it was done when Paul Walker died.
I thought so too, but
let's wrap it up and end on a good note. And they're going to murder it.
And if anything, well, I think the spin-offs are okay. They have a universe. The spin-offs are fine. I'm interested in Hobbs and Shaw because they're two of the more interesting characters.
Yeah.
I don't care about the main Fast and Furious franchise anymore, but it's tremendously profitable.
Of course.
Making tons of money.
They have their own ride at Universal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But Idris Elba's a big name to bring in.
It is.
I mean, the last one had Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
So they're still getting A-list
There's money.
people.
Yeah. There's money to be spent.
Absolutely.
Because money's being made.
That's right. Miles Teller has joined the cast of Top Gun 2 to play the role of Goose's adult son. Those who have seen Top Gun remember Goose as being best friends and wingman to Tom Cruise's Maverick. Top Gun 2 is said to be set in a world of drone technology and fifth-generation fighters, along with exploring the end of the era of dogfighting. So it's going to be a little, I think it's going to end up being a little of the old school versus the new school kind of idea, which is kind of cool. And I like Miles Teller a lot, so
yeah.
I don't know that we necessarily need a Top Gun sequel, but I'll see it.
When did the first one come out?
God, I don't even know.
80s?
Yeah. Yeah, so long ago.
God, Tom Cruise was a baby.
He was, comparatively, absolutely. Deadline is reporting that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie has found its villain with the addition of comedian Jim Carrey, who will play Robotnik in the film.
I thought Jim Carrey was done with movies.
I guess not.
No, he's back. And then he comes back for Sonic.
Well, he's been back in other stuff, too.
I haven't seen him in anything.
No, he's been around.
No.
Carey joins a cast for the live-action animation hybrid that includes Tika Sumpter and James Marsden, even though we don't know what roles they're playing yet.
I don't know.
Marsden is the lead, we're told. We don't know if he's actually playing a human or if he's going to be voicing Sonic.
How do you feel about this? I don't need to see it.
I don't need to see it, but
I have trouble with these movies that are like I did Space Jam was good, but yeah, I don't like the hybrid stuff. I have trouble believing that this world exists.
I like some of it. Like I liked Alvin and the Chipmunks, the first one.
Roger Rabbit was interesting because it was like hand drawn in, and it was,
and that was all the licenses combining too.
Yeah, to see everybody together.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. I have trouble staying in these worlds.
I think some of them worked, but not all of them. They can be difficult. Like I think Sonic's kind of a reach.
Sonic hasn't really been that relevant.
He still has games coming out. He has shows.
But it's just, really?
Yeah. Sonic Boom was on TV as a cartoon for a while recently.
I had no idea. I thought Sonic just kind of...
I mean, it's more kids-oriented, the cartoons and that kind of stuff. But it's out there. It's still relevant. And they're still coming out with Sonic games. They just announced Sonic Team Racing at E3. And I like Sonic Racing, what is it? Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a great game. Super fun. Kind of like the Mario Kart version of Sonic, yeah.
Mario Kart's fun.
According to Heat Vision, Oscar winner Jared Leto has signed on with Sony to star in a Morbius the Living Vampire movie. Originally, Dr. Michael Morbius, the scientist, tried to cure his rare blood disease, only to become afflicted with a form of vampirism that gave him superior strength, fangs, and a taste for plasma. The character fought Spider-Man several times, though eventually earned several of his own books, where he had a more heroic arc.
I've got a Morbius comic book in my basement.
Yeah?
All wrapped up. I'm sitting in a box.
In the comics, he also has an ongoing feud with Blade the Vampire Hunter.
Oh. So I wonder where the movie's going. Will that be tied into the Spider-Man universe, or is this going to go towards him?
It is a Sony movie. It is a Sony movie, so...
Who's Blade?
Blade was... What was Blade?
Fox?
I think it was Fox. But I could be wrong. That's a good question.
Oh, who's Morbius going to... I mean...
what's he going to do? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's still within the Spider-Verse, especially since it is Sony, but I'm curious. They might not even attach it with this one. Like, we might see a tag at the end that brings it into the Spider-Verse there. We'll have to wait and see.
It should be good to see. Hopefully
I'm interested. I like when they pull kind of random characters that you wouldn't think they might.
Yeah.
And a lot of studios have been experimenting with different genres of superhero movies.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see. Fox has been doing it more so. You got like Logan. The New Mutants looks very different, like more of a horror movie.
Yeah.
So they're doing some different stuff, which I think is interesting.
Keep it fresh.
Yeah.
See what clicks.
Yeah. Lastly, Studio DONTNOD, who we've been talking about a lot on the show already, has revealed that the first episode of their highly anticipated sequel to Life is Strange is set to debut on September 27th, 2018, with 4 more episodes to follow. In the meantime, you can play a free game released by the studio entitled The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which was announced at E3 and takes place in the Life is Strange universe. So they released a shorter playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
I think I played through it already. It was maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours, something like that. And it's just a free episode that kind of bridges things. Not totally bridges things. It introduces some new characters into the universe. But hey, it's free and it's like 2 hours.
I need to play Life is Strange.
It's a good game. It's very good. Episodic, so it's like 5 episodes. Mm-hmm. And then they went back and created a prequel called Life is Strange Before the Storm. Oh. That takes place before the events of Life is Strange. But it's definitely worth even... You know how I feel about prequels.
Yeah.
But I still played Before the Storm because I do enjoy that universe. Mm-hmm. And it was worth playing, but it did suffer from some prequel problems. Because you're playing a game based on choice.
Yeah.
But you already know where it's going. Because...
So your choices don't really matter. Because again, you branch off.
Yeah.
But you're going to get sucked back into that main
So you already know where it's going. So the choices do feel... You learn more about the characters. That's the interesting part about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does feel a little bit like your choices don't matter. And then the thing that's really good, though... is it comes with if you buy the full pack, it comes with a bonus episode called Farewell. And that brings back one of the characters from Life is Strange into it. And I don't want to say too much about it. It's maybe like an hour and a half episode, but that's probably the most emotional I've ever gotten at a video game.
Really?
Is that one good? Bonus episode. Yeah. Is really, really good.
Cool.
Yeah. But Life is Strange is absolutely worth playing, in my opinion. That is it for this episode. So final thought or something you'd like to plug?
Well, Rob did the designing of the new logos for me and website build. So I'm going to plug you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that sounds good.
Hey,
I'm going to plug them. All right. But yeah, head over to StaffordFitnessClub.com or Wesley Fitness. You see the logos. Rob built the websites. And the reason I mentioned that is the people at both gyms love the logos.
Oh, great.
The colors, the look of them, and the members of the new gym in Stafford.
And let's be fair, it was a collaborative effort.
It was.
You presented what you wanted.
They love the website. Like, I get comments on it all the time. So, very
fantastic.
Good. So, Rob is awesome at that if you need him.
RobLoganMedia.com.
Right.
If you need me for any of that stuff. Also, we are going to have, right after this, we're going to record another Oreo taste testing video.
Yeah.
So we have 3 more Oreo flavors to check out. I know normally we've been doing that on the podcast in the past, but I actually enjoy doing the format of the videos on YouTube for that. I think that works
Videos
better.
Everything.
And no more chewing during the podcast type idea. Yeah. We're going to separate it. It lends itself better to video. So it might not be out right away when this podcast comes out, but if you check out the YouTube channel at thegeekgeneration.com/YouTube or youtube.com/thegeekgeneration, you can get to our channel and there will be another Oreo taste test video coming out. For everything else we do, head on over to thegeekgeneration.com. If you use iTunes, please rate the show and write a review. We always appreciate those. You can watch our live events at twitch.tv/thegeekgeneration, and you can follow my new personal Twitch account over at twitch.tv/theroblogan. You can send emails with your feedback to podcast@thegeekgeneration.com. And as always, the show theme is provided by Machine Supremacy. A link to their site can also be found on our site. We'll be back soon with more geeky stuff for you, and we will see you then. Later.
See ya.
Make it so.